Hello, everybody, and welcome to my TI 2026 or TI 15 bracket predictions. Will the team who is unbeaten, or will a team manage to figure them out thanks to a loss, be able to beat them? And that team to beat is Team Vision. They're my favorites, and right now they're the best team I've seen in this TI right now. Nobody has found a chance to repeatedly expose any weakness they had. They do have a bit of a tendency to slow starts. They showed that quite a bit with their 2-1 series over Team Resistance and the 2-1 win over Falcon, since they've been just kind of running the gauntlet completely through there and just keep on going on. And I would say, unless somebody figures them out, it's their TI to lose. The number 2 team right now in my ranking of these 8 teams who survived the group Swiss stage, we have Team Spirit. They are the second strongest team, I feel like, right now. Yataro is still one of the best position 1 players in the world, even though Satanic is giving him a run for his money right now. They have some good situations, and even though Yatoro is the best carry, there is a slight weakness that you can't forget with Spirit, is that if another lane collapses before Yatoro can really get into the matchup, really whatever they pick him up, it can go pretty wrong for them. But otherwise, normally they can have a normal game and then they will kind of run you over, except for Vision, who ran them over already in the Swiss stage once. The third team is a team that walked up to Spirit, gave him a good beating, unfortunately did have to walk away with a loss. They were my number 6 team in the pre-TI ranking. They went 4-1 through the stage. They are Team Liquid. They did show that they aren't completely flawless because they often tend to sacrifice Ace, their offlaner, to create room for Nisha and Miki, giving potentially the opposing carry a lot more room to farm up. However, we did see during a few series where Nisha started getting targeted, especially Aurora did that quite a bit. We did see Ace pulling up then and going in, especially that ultra kill versus Aurora in game number 2 or 3. I'm not really sure right now. Gave him the path back in there and got him that 4-1 victory, that 2-1 victory that gave him the 4-1 and the clear qualification for the bracket. Then we have the reigning and defending champion of the international Falcons. They have almost 3 years now together on experience. They play very well together. They do have sometimes a very bumpy style that can really rock their boats quite a bit. Tend to experiment a bit sometimes. The Mars situation didn't work out, but they caught themselves up and got back in there. But one pocket pick, I feel like right now they should kind of leave in the back foot right now and not pull out, is the Enchantress. It's unfortunate for them because they did get, I think, the first 2 series, they almost completely got that band away from them and they pulled it out. But right now, not working in their favor, and I feel like they should drop it right now if they want a chance to sustain their bracket. The 5th team here is Iron Wings. I feel like they're a true wild card right now in this tournament. They have a ceiling to beat anybody. They've been showing that quite a bit. They did go up quite nicely against a few teams and really showed off what they can do. But they are prone to drop a lot of matches, and we could see that a lot in the Swiss stage. They do have some more interesting picks there. They're the only team I think left in this bracket who is willing to pull out the carry IO completely yet. I'm not really sure one of them has done it. Everyone's had at least done it twice, and they've mixing it up. They're a wild card that everybody has to prepare for in a way. But as I said, at the same time, it's rarely clean what they really pull out there. But if they're on point, they can go far. If they go to a normal game, I feel like a lot of their opponents right now in this bracket could cause them a lot of issues. The lucky number 6 are the Boom Boys. They feel right now pretty streaky, to be honest. They went up 2-0, went up versus Vision, lost that matchup, and then went immediately down and went 0-3 after that one. So they do have the tendency to win their lanes pretty often. The problem for that is, even though they win their lanes, they can't really make that immediately into a win, and that's causing him quite a bit of issues right now, I'd say, because you can't really spiral your lead into a win or make your lead big enough that the opponent can't really follow up for that one. You're kind of in a bad spot, and with that, I would say right now, I'd say it could be pretty hard for them to bounce back in this tournament. They do have to start on their strong foot and look how they can push it further. And now for the most disappointing team, as in my mind, for the favorites I had going into the tournament. Yandex started off for me at number 2, but depending on the day, but sometimes even 1, but didn't really work out that way. Their style hasn't really meshed very well into TI. You feel some of their picks have not been really going well. Their strong players have faltered a bit as well. It seems kind of very odd what they're doing. Their losses have all been a competitive 1-2, but that is something going on. Problem is, their losses were versus Team Liquid, Iron Wings, and Aurora. Aurora, as you can see, one of the teams that they lost to is not there anymore. The teams they beat were Team Resistance and Huligani, which both are not here either, so it's a bit of an awkward one. I would say they can be dangerous depending if they find their form during these break days and really get onto the run here. However, I would say they're not that trustworthy anymore, unfortunately, for them. And last, but by no measures the least in this bracket right now, is Enigma Galaxy. They're my biggest surprise. I did not really give him a good shot there. I thought they would go into the elimination matches, might have a chance to sneak out. Would have probably not predicted them to sneak out there. That's something I do have to look out for. However, they went 4-1. Their wins weren't versus the strongest teams, but they did get their 4th win off of Team Spirit, which throws everything you can say beforehand, like, oh, those are kind of weak opponents, throws it out the window. They went forward. And then we had, of course, one of the more interesting stories. Lurnov has found his footing completely in this tournament right now. Is going off. Their Dota style fits the tournament well, and they just go on with this right now. And feels like this team has a bit of the mindset, if this is Samael's last TI, we're going to go balls to the wall and just try to figure out how to get this Aegis back in his hand as the final one. But we'll have to see how that one goes. And I would say right now, they're not a bad team to look at right now, if I would be honest about this. So let's get into the bracket. First match up is going to be in the upper bracket. We got Team Spirit versus Iron Wings. I would say Team Spirit is the stronger team in general if they can play a normal game, which I would say like 95% of the time. Spirit can do, gonna get a normal game, they're gonna get a 2-1 out of Iron Wings. I'll give one game to Iron Wings just because of how volatile they can be, and I would say that would be my lock-in for the first game. 2-1 Iron Wings, we advance with Spirit, but Iron Wings still have another life left because we are in the double elimination bracket. Next up, we have a rematch from the 2-0 matchup in Group A, which was Team Vision versus Boom Boys. I know the first game went out clear to 0 for Team Vision, but I feel like right now we're going to have a 2-1 because Vision tend to drop one of the on the first day like a maps, and that's going to be what happens. Boom Boy get one game where they can play their style and win out that game. However, as I said, it's very close. And with that, we're already in match number 3 of the upper bracket quarterfinals, which is going to be, in my eyes, the win of Team Liquid 2-1 versus Team Yandex. Right now, Liquid feel like the more stable team. Yandex do have the individual quality to take a game off of them, even get maybe more out of it. I feel like Liquid have shown that can adjust right now, and I feel like they can walk over that furthermore. So that means that Liquid get up and Yandex go down to the lower bracket. And that leaves the spiciest game of all. It's going to be Nigma Galaxy versus Falcons. And I would say, honestly, right now, Falcons are still the reigning defending champion, which I feel like gives them credit. But right now, Nigma Galaxy looks a lot better in the whole meta. So I would give him the tournament meta at least. So I will give him the 2-1 lead over that one. Falcons rarely lose 2-0, so that's why I would say it's 2-1. And that means we're going to move forward with the lower bracket because that's how the schedule is going to go actually about it. So, round 1 of the elimination bracket, aka lower bracket, we got the Boom Boys versus Iron Wing. And I feel like right now, Iron Wing can play quite nicely, and they do quite well with what they have right now. However, I feel like the Boom Boys are going to pull this one out. So I would say right now, Boom Boys get out this 2-1. Boom Boys have their special kind of draft where they just overrun you in the first 15 minutes and then just end it out there, and that's kind of how it goes. But it could flip for Iron Wing as well. Let's be honest about that one, because I would say right now Iron Wing have a good chance, because I think if the game goes like past 40 minutes, Boom Boys really lack the chance to really pull this one up, because then their leads melt down and somebody could get back in there. But I would say right now, Boom Boys have the method to the madness to stop Iron Wing from having their clean game, and could be a series really to watch out for, because that could be a very chaotic one if that happens. For the second game in this elimination bracket match, which is the lower bracket round 1, we got Falcons versus Yandex. And I would say right now, I'd give Falcons the edge for them. Yandex, still, I don't think they will look right. They kind of lost their consistency here, and I feel like that's going to cost them dearly. Falcons have the class to pull this one out. I mean, both teams have the class, otherwise they wouldn't be in this top 8. But at the same time, it just feels like Falcons can drag out a series and just get this little knock over your head that really puts the Falcons into a great position to win out this matchup. With that, right now we have Falcons and Boom Boy advancing into the next round. In the upper bracket, we then have, first up, we have Team Vision versus Team Spirit. Right now, I would say, right now, Vision gets the advantage over Spirit. Right now, we do have this is a rematch from the 3-0 matchup from the Swiss stage, where both teams had a chance to qualify already for this bracket. Vision took the advantage over Spirit there and got through. I wouldn't say it would be a 2-0 again, because I feel like Spirit's going to put a lot more on the line than last time. But it's going to be a 2-1, just because Spirit is too good to dismiss that hard. And I would say on the other side, Vision tend to sometimes have like a sloppy moment, and Spirit is one of the teams I feel like can really punish that one. With that, we head into the other upper bracket semifinal, and I would say Nigma beat out Team Liquid for this matchup 2-1, because I feel like Liquid are one of the most adaptable teams right now. They found their style quite a bit over the series, are willing to flip around some things to get an advantage, and that makes it hard for Nigma Galaxy to close it out with a 2-0. But however, I would say right now, Nigma find the way. Their captain Kuroki finds the step that they need, really get that one win up there and head into the upper bracket final to face off versus Team Vision. However, for now, we're going to head down into the lower bracket again. So we start off with Team Liquid versus Boom Boys. I feel like Team Liquid is a very interesting team for this one. They fall down into the hand of the Boom Boys, and normally I would say the Boom Boys have a good shot here, but I feel like Team Liquid right now have gotten their confidence out after getting through the bracket and everything. It goes 2-1 out for Liquid. They fall down probably the first game because the Boom Boys go with their early strat and just go off on them. After that, Liquid adjusts, get it back there, and feel comfortable with the way. I mean, I gotta say, Liquid comfortably got back into the pacing, to be honest, and I'm not surprised about that one. But it is a surprise that they did it so early after watching UWC where they kind of faltered a bit there. But they got their stride back in there and they went for it. So pretty much welcome to Liquid going into the lower bracket final. And the other matchup of the lower bracket is here, or rather, lower bracket semi-final, which we're gonna head into. It's not the final yet. I was ahead of myself there with Liquid, but we got Spirit versus Falcons. I would say Spirit is the stronger team. Falcons are the reigning and defending champion, and I feel like Spirit will win this out. I do know that probably Falcons will target the Yataro lane pretty hard, which they tend to do quite a bit. I feel like it's going to be a really ugly, pure elimination Dota, which is almost most of the fun of the Dota because I do like the structure, but if you just have a chaotic brawl, it's always more fun to watch, to be honest. As a viewer, you see that you don't need the nuance, you just have people going for the throat every time. It's amazing, but I feel like right now Spirit's going to win this one out. Actually, 2-0. Let's go for the 2-0. It's the rare 2-0 I actually have in this bracket, to be honest, but I feel like that's going to be kind of how it goes about. Let's say Spirit go into the lower bracket semi versus Liquid, and we'll see how that one goes about for that one. But for now, we do jump up once again to the upper bracket for the upper bracket final, where we have Team Vision versus Nigma Galaxy. The favorite versus the surprise story, to be honest, of this tournament. So we go out, we see Vision go in there. They're gonna beat Nigma 2-1 because I feel like it's just how it looks better for them. They look better. They look more control. Samil and Lorinov can be wildcards, but I think that the whole strategy of Vision just works out better for them because you have to beat out 9 class, you have to beat out Duke class, who are pretty strong, very roaming supports, especially 9 class can be very, very dangerous, especially with Puppy reigning 9 class, and there's not like the weird slur. There's some unusual picks in there, but it's not as unstructured as it was like 6 months ago. For respect to them, that's going to be how we look at this one, and I feel like that's going to be very interesting how that one goes about. Oh yeah, and the score is going to be 2-1 for Vision. Because I feel like Nigma will still one off of them and then head down to the lower bracket waiting for their competitor. And speaking of lower bracket, we're heading into the lower bracket semifinal. We have Team Liquid versus Team Spirit. One of the only teams that beat Liquid yet in this international. And Liquid are going to do it. They're going to get their revenge on Team Spirit after a long, hard, drawn-out game. They're going to fight their ways out. Spirit are going to feel like in their territory, but Liquid did adapt quite well to Spirit. And I feel like if they don't go with the Luna Ball, even though they did pull it out once again later on, I feel like they know what they have to do, really. And this could be maybe the game where I feel like Ace does everything you really need him to do to stop them down. Going to be very interesting. Nisha is working well too, so it's going to be a very, very interesting series. With that, Spirit is out. We got our top 3 right now. We're going to mention them for one moment. We do have Team Vision waiting in the grand final for whoever pops up. Then we have Team Nigma Galaxy versus Team Liquid in the lower bracket final, which we're going to talk about next. And with that, we're going to hit out to the Team Liquid versus Nigma Galaxy. I would say this is going to be a 2-1 for Liquid. I do say that Nigma Galaxy could take this one as well. But I feel like at this point, I feel like just the pressure is going to rise up to an occasion where I feel like the Cinderella is going to lose her shoe and the clock is going to strike midnight, meaning that they don't make it. Gotta put the point on there. Nigma Galaxy did put themselves to a great position. I'm very interested to see how the team develops after TI. Because if Samir really retires, then there's a huge hole in the carry position. Whoever will take that one could be a pretty strong spot. Lorinov, if he stays on, it's going to be very good for Enigma Galaxy. And you can't forget, or Omar and GH have not been looking bad as well. You got quite a strong team. Devai has been suffering a lot of hits here, but has been handling his resource lacking very well here. And Hiroki as the coach could mean a lot for this team, actually. Let's be honest about that one. But however, that's them. They're third place. Congratulations to them. In my eyes, it would be that. And we'll head over to the grand final. Team Vision versus Team Liquid is the grand final I feel like we'll be going through. Vision got their way through the upper bracket, never really felt in doubt. But Liquid, who are lovely lower bracket kings, they walk through the lower bracket. They did lose take a lot of bites in there. Vision could have a good scouting on them. However, I will stun you saying I feel like Liquid go out this grand final. We're gonna go all 5 games. We're gonna go 3-2 for Liquid versus Vision. And that's gonna be probably a surprise for a lot of people because I've been saying Vision is gonna go probably through this one. But I feel like Vision have a strong understanding of the meta, yes. However, I feel like Liquid right now have been proving, especially in the Swiss stage, that they can adapt quite well to their opponents. They've been flipping around. For example, in the Spirit series, they saw that their Luna wasn't working, so they flipped that out and got better carries in there, and all these things, little things. Nisha lost a game where Ace had them to carry. Everybody has the potential of them to really go off. The Dawnbreaker, I feel like, has risen a lot in popularity, and Ace's Dawnbreaker looked really good, especially if the Centaur is getting pushed off the game further and further, more and more with the bans. And you will look at me and say, Alenvil, you said that's Vision is your strongest team. They're your favorites. Yes, I would say that without hesitance, but I feel like Liquid just figure out how to solve Vision, and that's something that a lot of teams have struggled with, and Vision feels good about that one. It hurts a bit to say Puppy's going to walk away as the coach with not winning the TI, but he did well there, and I would say if it happens, congratulations to Liquid, and it's a bit of a surprise here. I would say it would be a fun TI if we go to the 5th game. And I'm kind of sad that we don't have a Chinese team because I feel like that could take the crowd out of it, which is sad to be honest. But we will see each other at my next prediction, which is gonna not prediction. What I'm talking about. I am talking, of course, about my next recap, which is going to be on Thursday after day 1 of the bracket stage, where we have a lot of things going on. I've had some thoughts about the bracket, about the game, how I want to do the recaps now after doing 4 days already. So, got a few surprises in hand. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to, and hope to see you then. Bye bye.